Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to look at the art book from Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I pre-ordered mine on Amazon and I got it on Tuesday. I haven't reviewed it until today because I have been reading through it. There's actually quite a bit of information in it. And this book, there's fumes to this book, and I'll read a little bit and then I don't feel very well. Like, it really needs to be aired out. It has got a smell to it. This book is huge. Look how big this book is compared to my hand. This thing is massive. Book, look at this thing. It is a beast. It is so big. It is so big. Great book, though. Really, really nice book. Great price for the size of this book. Like, really, you really can't go wrong. If you like Rise, I highly suggest getting this book. It is fantastic. If we want to put a spoiler at the beginning, this is a really good art book. And it's mostly, there's a lot of interviews of Andy Suriano and Ant Ward. They are the co-creators of Rise of the Ninja Turtles. They both have worked on the 2012 series in different capacities. And 2012 is such a different show compared to this. It's kind of amazing that they came from that to this. But they weren't, I wouldn't say that they were necessarily in charge of how 2012 was, whereas in this one, these two, they pretty much pitched this idea to Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. So we're going to go through this book. I made some notes from the beginning part of this book, which tells a lot of like how this show came to be. Here is there's a lot of, oh my gosh, I can smell the book already. It is there's a lot of ink in this book. It has got a smell. But there's a lot of really cool. There was a glare. Can I get... There we go. The glare's gone. There's a lot of pre-production art like this. This picture is so hideous. But you can see like where the original ideas for the characters were with this. Here's our table of contents. This is just an introduction. We got a lot of cool art where you can just kind of see how the characters evolved, the character designs evolved, and like what kind of art they were going for, what kind of look they wanted. But it like Rise doesn't have the best character designs. They're not the worst either, but some of this pre-production art is just absolutely hideous. I mean, it makes sense that it wasn't the final design. In the beginning of this book, they talk about how they had opportunities to pitch to Nickelodeon before the 2012 series was even over. Nickelodeon was looking for a new series, which I think was it was just rough on Ninja Turtle fans across the board. A lot of people were really into 2012, and I do think 2012 ran its course, and it ended when it should have ended, but Rise came out so quick after that nobody had time to like rest or mourn, depending on who you were. I was burned out. I actually didn't even make it through the last season of 2012 because I was so burned out and I just didn't care anymore. And so I didn't want to see a new Ninja Turtle show because I just needed some time. And then there were the people who, like, 2012 was their absolute favorite, and they weren't ready to let it go, and so they weren't in the mood either for a new show, but, like, Nickelodeon was just not having it. Like, they weren't even letting the body cool before they're putting together a new show. But in this, Ant and Andy state that they were putting together pitches for Nickelodeon for this next Ninja Turtle show, and they found out their pitches were very similar. So Nickelodeon put them together And since they had worked on 2012, this is actually, I originally thought just from like, like fan gossip and like what kind of like goes through the fan communities, I thought Nickelodeon was who was the entity who was like, it can't be like the other shows. Like those other shows have been done to death. We need something new. I thought it was Nickelodeon who decided that, but it was actually these guys. Since they had worked on 2012, and we had 2003, which hit a lot of the main points of the comics, and then we had 2012 that just kind of did it again. Like a lot of things that 2003 did, 2012 also did, but like with their spin, in their universe. These two guys were like, if you're gonna let us do a Ninja Turtle show, we have to do something completely different because everything's already been done. And I think that was a very wise decision. I remember as 2012 was going through, because 2003 is my favorite. And as 2012 was going through the stuff, I'm like, this is all the stuff that they've done before. Like, Ninja Turtles has already done this. We've already done, like, the Triceratons and, like, going into space and the Utrons and, like, all these. There's just a lot of the same points that both shows hit. So to, like, then come out with a third show and it does all the same stuff, like, I don't blame these guys whatsoever for wanting to try something new. I just don't think we were ready. Let's just say that we were ready. When the very first episode of Rise came out, I did watch it, like right when it came out. I didn't get it. Like, I watched it and I was like, nah, no, I'm good. To be fair, their first episode of Rise was not one of their best ones. They had some amazing episodes, and the first episode was not one of them. It takes a little while to get what Rise is doing, and I think, like, I've seen some people do like little quick reviews or little snippets on the short reels about Rise, and most of what they say, it makes me feel like, I think you guys only just watched a few episodes, because it really takes a while to get into what Rise is and to get what they're doing. And it really is the show's fault, because the show takes a while to kind of guide you into what it's trying to do, and they didn't do a very good job in that aspect. I really, really like Rise. It's a very polarizing show in the Ninja Turtle community, but I gave it a second chance when the movie came out, because everybody was praising the movie. Everybody thought the movie was really good. And it was. The movie was really good. And then it made me go back to watch the show. So then I really did want to, like, take my time and try to figure out what the show was doing. Not every Turtle fan did that. And a lot of Turtle fans, I guess, they really just wanted another show that does the same stuff all over again. And I just, they couldn't. Like, I wouldn't have made it. I mean, I still didn't give it a chance, but when I did, I really enjoyed it. But it just, after 2012, like, it would feel like beating a dead horse if they just went through and did another typical Ninja Turtle show, hitting all the same notes that all the other shows have done. There would be no point. It was, I think, the right idea, but the timing was off. I feel like if you give Rise a chance and you understand what they're doing, it's good. But the thing is, it is its own thing. And they actually do say here in the book that they subscribe to, like, the Turtles Forever theory. Like, there's just a bunch of Ninja Turtles universes, and this wasn't supposed to be like the one true Ninja Turtles universe. This is an alternate universe. This is just one of the many, many Ninja Turtle universes out there. And they're all going to be a little different, and they're all going to have, like, their own vibe. And I really like that. I really feel like that they liked Ninja Turtles, and they, unlike these other shows that just kind of went off the other storylines, they were interested in trying new things. And when you try new things, sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. Right here, they mentioned that they really liked the idea of the hidden city, which we've got some backgrounds here. The backgrounds in Rise are absolutely amazing. I wish, like, this is about as big, with as big as this book is, this is about how big that we get of these backgrounds. There's a lot of backgrounds in here, but they're so tiny, and it makes me sad because I think the backgrounds are the best, are just, they're amazing. Like, they're so good, and I want, like, every single background. Let's get to a new page so we got some new stuff to look at, but this art, like, it's just, it's so ugly. Like, the character designs, they're like, I'm used to the Rise character designs now, but they're not the best character designs ever. They're fine. But like this this art is so ugly. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it, like, it's ugly. Maybe someone will get mad at me about that. But this is still some pre-production art. And on this page, they're talking about how Nickelodeon was really excited about this new take that they wanted to do, because Nickelodeon was seeing the vision too. And I thought this was really interesting, what Andy says here. He talks about how Playmates was the only one who was not happy about that. I have talked about Playmates toys for Rise on a previous video. All the toys for Rise were just fugly. They're not great. You could tell they didn't like them. Playmates was not happy about it. And to hear them actually say, like, Playmates had a pushback, which I think is also really interesting, because Playmates does not own Ninja Turtles. How Playmates is actually losing their license for Ninja Turtles. They don't own it. I think it's really interesting that Playmates was actually consulted when they're not really a part of it. Like, you just pay Playmates to make the toys. Like, they should just be like, yeah, we'll do whatever. I just thought that was really interesting that they got consulted. I'm kind of curious, like, what the relationship was between them and Ninja Turtles. Like, has it always been like that? That Playmates, like, has that much say over, like, what show goes on? Apparently they don't have that much say, because Nickelodeon absolutely ignored them. Made them do those toys anyway, and they did a terrible job. And then they talk about how they did set out to make this more of a comedy, which really shows if you watch the show. And also they said that Always Sunny in Philadelphia was a model. So it's just like the gang gets together and does this dumb shit, and then the gang gets together and then does this dumb shit, which is that's pretty much how Rise is. It really is. There's a heavy emphasis on the teenage part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Rise. There's so many scenes in this show where I'm like, yes, this is exactly how 14-year-old boys act. There's a bunch of these in here that just shows kind of like the keyframes. This is, this art here, I believe, is like kind of like a pilot, because the art isn't quite on model. They're kind of close to model, but they don't, like Raphael especially, to me, doesn't seem quite on model. And Donatello, to show investors or somebody like the idea, like the dream of this show. But this was really interesting that they included this. But where was I? Oh yeah, so they wanted this to be a comedy, and they stated that they first went to, like, comedy storyboard artists, and I don't even know who that is. Is that like the more adult animation, like The Simpsons or King of the Hill or something? Or like BoJack Horseman? I don't know. Like, I don't know who that means. But the comedy storyboard artists were like, no, I don't think we're good for this. You need to get action storyboard artists. So they got action storyboard artists and comedy writers, according to them in this book, which the result is exactly what you would expect it to be. But I think the action part just surprised everybody with Flying Bark Studios, which was kind of like a no-name studio. But apparently that studio just, like, they put in the effort. Like, they really were into it. Which is how we got this amazing animation with these Ridiculous character designs. So this just kind of shows kind of like the design process. If you're an animation student like me, this would be more interesting. And even some of this I don't find super interesting, but it's fun. It's fun to see this. I really like this kind of stuff, even though it's kind of weird because they're like naked, but you can see them. They really wanted a streamlined version of the shells. I'm pretty sure that they mentioned this in here. So they were like studying the body. They just wanted the shells to be really form fitting, and that's what happened. That's what happened. So you get these weird. There's just like butt, shiny butt, and stuff like that. There's booty. As they're figuring out. But I also really like just the different muscle groups in different colors, which is really fun to see for artists. I draw Rise, and the heads, like, they're so weird because they don't follow a typical skull shape. You know what I mean? Leo I struggle with, Donnie I struggle with, Raph and Mikey I find a little bit easier, but these two I struggle with a lot. Look at this. Like, how is this a normal head anyway? I think it's a really fun aesthetic. I see myself included. I start drawing the shells a little bit more form-fitting instead of just like they look like they have a giant disc on their backs. Like, especially Bayverse. Bayverse does it the worst, where it hardly even looks like it's attached to them. There's just a big old disc on their back. And then we get into the character designs, which, you know, we get a couple of sketches this kind of looks a little like pre-production art, and then here's the final design. These are great for artists if you want to have, you know, you get to see the early stuff, but then you've got your turnaround character models. And you get, like, there's pretty much nothing that doesn't have a model sheet. They did, these characters also wear, like, a ton of outfits in this show, which, I don't know why they decided that they had to dress them up all the time, but it's fun. It's so much fun to see them in all these different outfits. And I think this is also one of the reasons they really wanted the shells to be, more form-fitting so they can put them in, all these outfits. Like, in every other show, they seem to wear, like, kind of people clothes, and they always look so stupid, and these are fun. You go back to, like, the OG Ninja Turtles where they put on the trench coat and the hat, and do you remember, like, the bald guy, like, full face mask they would wear that just makes them look absolutely awful? And now we're to this show where they just have all these fun little outfits that they wear. Like, it seems almost every other episode that they get to wear something fun. Yeah, see, more and more and more, but like pretty much anything they ever wore has a model sheet. And then they go through, like, every single episode that has ever been has its own spread, and then we got some more animation stuff. We got some comic stuff in here. But yeah, it covers, and I haven't gotten this far, because like I said, I can only read a little bit of this at a time, and then the smell gets to me. And it's still, like, I can still smell it. But it's crazy. Like, this book is a labor of love. They did every single episode. I think everything that you ever wanted to know about Rise is in here. I love the backgrounds. I love the backgrounds of this show so much. I wish they were bigger. I know they had to be small and this book had to be big because they are shoving so much in there. I love the backgrounds so much. So this, and here we are. We're still, all of this is still every episode. Because, like, a lot of episodes were actually 2 episodes. So there was quite a few episodes, even though this was technically like a season and a half. And then, like, we even got this cool map of Hidden City, which I think Hidden City and the whole, like, underworld of the yokai, I think it's one of the best new ideas Ninja Turtles has been given in a really long time. It is one of my favorite things about Rise. I love Hidden City. I love every time they go to Hidden City. There's always something new. There's so much cool stuff And I would be 100% for another Ninja Turtles show. We just got the Tales of the TMNT, the Mutant Mayhem. That got canceled after season 2. You know they're gonna do another show. We don't know how, we don't know when, but some iteration should do Hidden City again and like the yokai stuff again because it was so cool. One of the things that gets mentioned up in here somewhere is they do mention that they lament that they didn't get to do everything they wanted to do in the show because it got canceled early. And that was the only thing that I was a little irritated about because the storytelling of Rise is a lot like the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. There's like storyline at the beginning of the season and storyline at the end of the season, and then all the middle is filler or like just episodic, you know what I mean? There's hardly anything that carries from one to the other. And so to hear them say like, well, we didn't get to do everything we wanted to do. Why? Why didn't you put more story in the first season then? It has been a while since Transformers Animated came out, but I feel like Transformers Animated should have taught everybody who has ever made a show a lesson. If you don't have it in contract that you get X many episodes or X many seasons, you need to always write like that show's gonna end at that season. If you want it in the show, you need to put it in the show. Like, it kind of irritated me because literally, like, we just saw all these episodes. Like, I went through all these episodes. You know what important things happen in these episodes? Nothing. Nothing important. There's like very little character development. There's very little storyline. The first season, there's an overarching storyline in some of the episodes where the Foot are trying to find, they're putting together pieces of the Shredder, the Tengu Shredder armor, but that's it. And then there's like Baron Draxum in here too, but like literally his storyline, like he's doing this thing where there's like some sort of prophecy that the yokai are going to be in trouble, and he thinks the human world is going to be that trouble or something. Like it's never really clear, and it's never explained to us. And then he just becomes a good guy for no reason. And I feel like I'm getting way into Rise, even though we're just covering this art book. I want to do a video just about Rise at some point. Okay, so this is all the episodes. Then we've got Hidden City. And then, oh, here's more. Here's more episodes. Yep, these are still episodes. And then we get some more scenes from, this is from the finale of the show. Here we go. And then it gets into the movie, which, oh, look at this background. It's so cool. There's so many cool backgrounds. And the art in the movie got even better. But looks like we've got some pre-production character designs that also never made it into the show. April, I don't think made it into... Yeah, April didn't make it into the movie. The Mecha Raft didn't make it into the movie. And like I said, I haven't read any of this either. Here's the character designs from the movie. And more cool backgrounds, more cool art. This is just such a great art book. Ugh, and the smell. The smell. Yep, and then here's, so, like, if you want to know what all this says, you need to go buy it. I'm not going to tell you everything it says. And we got some, like, storyboards here, which is cool to see. And then here are the lost episodes. Here's all the episodes that were kind of in production, like, when the show got canceled. So I think this, like, I haven't gotten to this either, but so many of us were really curious to see what we lost, what we could have had. I know there was, the one that we talked about the most was the Toddler Mutant Turtles as far as the fandom went, because we knew there was an episode where some of them, Mikey was the only one who remained an adult and the others became kids or something. I haven't looked yet. But this gives you information on these episodes that didn't make it into production. I don't know how much. It doesn't seem like a lot, just a couple pages. But you know, hey, it's something. And then we get the comics cover, because there was comics. I would say that's my biggest complaint about Rise, because it is fun, but the show doesn't go anywhere unless it's forced to, which is what happened. You know, we get these epic finales, but only because the show was forced to give us, you know, it got canceled, so they were forced to give us a finale. This, like, it barely had a beginning and an end. I have the whole compendium of these comics, and nothing really happens in them. It's just stuff. It's just stuff, and then we get here, you know, here's the comic covers, and then here's this. I think this came out with the 40th anniversary special comics, but there's a future Raph. You see future Raph and Donnie in this, and I think April. So I already have this comic, but and then there's, you know, a closing. It looks like there's a lot of different people who worked on it on here. But just all around a great art book. I'm an animation girly. I took animation in college. I love books like this. If you like Rise, I highly suggest it. I literally don't know what else they could have put in this book. I think it's a fantastic book. I think I ranted a little too long about Rise itself without really talking about this book. But, if you don't like Rise, maybe you should buy it anyway. It's a really good art book. But anyway, that's my video. I will talk to you again later. Goodbye.